Hi everyone, today we're going to tour the wood shop. I am a cabinet maker and furniture maker, and I am super fortunate to have this awesome space to work in. I definitely don't take it for granted. So let's check out the space. I decided to do this tour without cleaning at all or organizing anything. It's just how it is. This is how the shop looks most of the time when I'm in the middle of these big projects, and that way you can see what it's really like, not just a cleaned up version. Here we go. So a couple quick facts about the shop. It is 48 by 44. I have three roll-up doors. They are all 12 feet wide, and they're quite tall. Two of them are 16 feet. One of them is 12 feet. Having three big doors going across the entire front of the shop, it has its drawbacks. It's nice because I can be really flexible with the space, use them all when, or use one rather than the other if I've got something in the way. But it is kind of not very efficient. In terms of heating the space, it's not like having a thick insulated wall there. So I get a lot of draft. Rain can come through. Down at the bottom, they're just not super sealed, but I really like having them. It's cool to have these windows in there. I can see the mountains from the shop, so I'm happy to have them rather than not have them. The shop is a big, almost a square, and I spent a lot of time figuring out the best arrangement for everything. I've been in here since 2018, and I think what I've kind of settled on is the most functional arrangement for me. And I imagine I'll change things as the years go by, but this has been working really well. Let's check it out. The front part of the shop has my workbenches. Got my kind of classic woodworking bench here with vices and all that. It's a great bench. Enjoyed building it. These are some reclaimed, just actually kind of cheap beams. These 4x10s that I recovered from when we were remodeling our house, and I turned it into this workbench. I've got a really nice bench crafted leg vise here. Over here is my my 3 horsepower saw stop. I've had this thing since the beginning of the shop, and it's been really great. On this back wall here, there is some clamp storage, a lot of random stuff in here, chisels, random tools, where I grab my drills when I'm assembling stuff, and where I kind of come to find whatever random thing I need, drill bits and stuff like that. Got parallel clamps, little bar clamps. This shop is kind of built in a cool way with these big post frame construction, and I don't know, I find a lot of uses for how these stick out from the wall. And like I said, this is I have not cleaned up anything, so I think it's kind of a mess. I've got a mattress in here, a dead plant. Behind the mattress is a couch. And all right, let's take a walk over this way. We'll pass my main assembly table along the way. This is a big, thick torsion box with some storage inside, little shelf on the bottom. I am outfitting a bookstore with bookcases. So this is a bunch of bookcase parts. They are ready for finish, and then assembly after that. Since I've been doing this this large scale project, I've had to buy a lot of bulk material. So right in front of this middle door is where I keep that material, and it's nice to be able to move it around with this pallet jack. This is a handy tool to have. This is a plywood rack I built, and I have a video for this of me building this. It's been really handy to have in the shop. I can fit a bunch in here. A lot of it ends up being scrap pieces. I've got plenty of full-size sheets in here, but it's just kind of a place where sheets go that I'm going to come back to and use again. But I've gotten comments about, you know, that's not how you're supposed to store plywood and all that. But you know, it's worked just fine for me storing it in this vertical way. This is an SCMI sliding table saw, and it is by far my favorite tool in the shop, and by far the machine I use the most. I've spent more time standing right here in the last couple years than standing anywhere in the shop. I've got really lucky. It was owned by someone who had bought it original in 1989, I believe. Single owner, and he used it for many years. Anyway, this wasn't of use to him anymore, so I was able to buy it from him for a really good price, and it works beautifully. Having a machine that can handle big sheets of plywood, breaking down all kinds of materials, it is just a dream to have. One more thing on this saw. It is a 9 horsepower 3-phase motor, which means I need a phase converter. This is a Phase-O-Matic rotary phase converter. It's a 15 horsepower, and it takes about 100 amps. So when I want to use the saw, I come over here, and this is an on-off for the phase converter. So I turn that on, come over here, and start the saw. Takes a bit of time for that thing to finally stop. Okay, so there it is. The #1 tool in the shop by far. For me, it's the sliding table saw. But I do a lot of cabinet work, and that means a lot of plywood. Breaking down on this is a total dream. And I really couldn't have done all these large scale projects the last couple of years without it. So if you're able to buy one or find one used, like I did with this one, and you have the space for it, definitely try to make it happen, because it will change things for your production. I've got a Grizzly edge sander here. This thing has been great. Really enjoy using it, and it's really handy for a lot of things. Outside radius curves is really nice. I have a central dust collection system, so I do have all the major machines hooked up to this ducting here, which goes back to my dust collector, which we'll get back there in a little bit. So next to the edge sander, got this jet drill press. I think it's an 17-inch drill press. And then next to that is a router table. I made the base for this. This is a cast iron top. This is a Rockler table. Works great. The dust collection's really good. Got a Bosch router in here, which is not amazing, I have to say. Got blast gates I got this radial arm saw for free, and this is not a tool that I use. I've got lots of options for cross-cutting with the sliding table saw mainly, and then over here with this Bosch miter saw. I've had this for quite a while, actually. I've had this for like 8 years, I think, or more. It works fine. I really like the slide mechanism. It's not super fancy. It works for me. I've got this little stop here and this tape, and you know what? It works really well, actually. It's nice to have the station with the support on either side. I really like that. That's my miter saw station. I've got a pallet of scrap wood here that's kind of evolved over time. I don't really know what to do with it. Sometimes I pull some, you know, for small projects, making cutting boards or something. It's kind of wood that I want to save, that I don't really want to get rid of, but that's not really all that useful either. Okay, before I move on down the wall to the dust collector and that back corner of the shop, let's just stop off at these little, this kind of floating island of tools here. So I've got a oscillating spindle sander, a drum sander, and this line boring machine. This is a jet spindle sander, and it's great for inside radius curves. Older tool, and you know, it was a Craigslist find. Found a spot in my shop. This is a Supermax drum sander, 1938, and it's good for thin stock. This is a Castle machinery line boring machine. So basically, this is what makes all the little adjustable shelf pin holes. It has a foot pedal, which brings this whole thing down as it's drilling, and it works really good. Okay, next up in the shop tour. This is my big Grizzly 12-inch jointer. Absolutely love this tool. It's been fantastic. This is a 20-inch South Bend planer. This has also been great. It is a 5 horsepower. This is a 3 horsepower. They are both 230 volts. I do have a hollow chisel mortiser. It's really been a cool tool to use. And then we have my Grizzly 3 horsepower, also 220 volt, 19-inch bandsaw. This thing is great. It's been nice to have the power and capacity for resawing or really any kind of bandsaw work. I've got another door here. Let's take a peek outside. Whoa! This is a little ramp I made to a dust pile I've got going. And finally, the dust collector. This is a 5 horsepower Grizzly Cyclone dust collector. Also in this corner, I've got my jet lathe. Right, so let's circle back. Up here is a loft, just some storage for now. I originally intended it to be like an office space, and maybe it will someday. Hey, another couch. Sometimes I'll have this filled with firewood. I heat my shop with a wood stove in the wintertime, and it works actually great. This is where I store oils, finishing products, epoxy, all that fun stuff. Sometimes I'll do some pull-ups. It's got a stack of cabinets here, upper cabinets for a kitchen. This is my son's workbench. He's got a lot going on. Well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this very informal tour of my shop. It's been fun to share it with you guys. Yeah, let me know if I left anything out. I probably am missing some parts of the shop that you might want to see. Be happy to do another video. Maybe I'll do another one when it's all cleaned up. But this was a good way to just show you what it's like in the shop on the day-to-day with projects. This is the reality of a workshop. Yeah, thank you so much. Let's take a peek on the outside of the shop really quick before we go. So thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll leave you just with some shots around the place and around the shop.